Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Podcast, the podcast with three different flavors coming from three different gamers. I am your host, Nick Irwin, and I want to welcome my co-host, Patrick Smith and Shane Eisterhold. Hey, Patrick, where can they find us?
Well, the first place you should check out is our website at ittastes.different.com. This is the place where you can subscribe to all of our streams and connect to all of our social media sites. You can also find us on Facebook at It Tastes Different. We're also on Instagram at It Tastes Different PC. And then last but not least is Twitter, where you can find us at It Tastes Diff.
What's on the menu for today? Well, we tried the sashimi with Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is an action-adventure game developed by Sucker Punch Productions and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It features an open-world type game. It follows a samurai on a quest to protect Tsushima Island from the first Mongol invasion of Japan. The game was released on July 17th of 2020. This first half of the section of our review is going to be spoiler-free. We'll try to lead a segue into when we start talking about spoilers, but the first half of this will be spoiler-free. We'll open it up with Shane. Let's see what your thoughts are on this game, Shane.
Oh my gosh, where to begin on greatness? It's amazing. It is hands down this year's the best game, period. The concept to the execution is almost flawless in my opinion. It sets a bar for the way open world games, in my opinion, should be designed. Red Dead is fantastic, but nothing about the way it's online or its open world is set up like Ghost of Tsushima is. Ghost of Tsushima's setup is just fantastic. The side quests are definitely the way you should design a side quest in an open world game. The characters you interact with are amazing. The stories are interesting. The side quests aren't the same trivial garbage that you always do in every one of these games. And the ones that are similar to it are still 10 times better than any of the other side quests that I've done on other open world games. It's just fantastic. Controls are tight. They're easy to learn, hard to master. The characters, to me, are my absolute favorite part of the game. Every character in there is unique. Even your main protagonist, who's typically in these types of games are pretty generic. It truly does evolve in this game. Lara Croft, she started off in the Tomb Raider reboot. I'm an innocent girl. Oh no, I'm stuck on an island. Oh, how do I use this bow? I kill all you suckers. That's the way she went. This is a natural story progression of this character, and the way he flows from end to end it's just amazing. I really have very few negative things I could possibly say about this game, except for I just didn't have time to complete all the little things throughout the game before this review. So that's like my biggest problem is I still have so many little things I want to do in this game. And I'm not a completionist, but I want to complete this game. I really have no other positives to say about it. And far as negatives, it's really hard to find any. The entire game is just so well done. Sucker Punch just, they nailed it. I have nothing really negative to say about it. Nick?
Yeah, I agree. I think Sucker Punch knocked it out of the park. I think this is a great game. I love every aspect of this game from beginning to end. It was a perfect game, and unlike Shane, I did every side quest and every little thing in it, and I didn't want it to stop. I didn't want it to end. It was a perfect game from end to end. And exactly right. The protagonist in this, he grows throughout the story, and all the side characters and side quests are done perfectly. One thing I love about the side quests is, most of the side quests, if not all the side quests, are pretty short, but they're short and to the point. They don't lead you on. They don't have you doing a lot of this and that and, fetching and killing and various things that don't have anything to do with the side quest just so they can extend it. It was just enough time to say, this is the story of the side quest, and this is how it ends, and this is how things happen within the side quest, and that's where it ends, and then as soon as you begin it ends, and that's one thing I like. I don't like games that have side quests that lead on forever and ever and ever and ever, and it's like, because I don't, I want to do the main quest. I don't want to do, I do want to do the side quest, but I don't want the side quest to become a main quest. They should be shorter in a sense and not take as long. But yeah, everything about this game, just for me, game of the year. I think it's the best game that's come out this year. I don't know if any other games coming out this year, maybe Cyberpunk potentially, but out of all the games that's come out this year so far, this is my top game of the year, and I think it deserves that spot. I think it's the best game to come out this year, and I would be surprised to see anything else topple that achievement that Sucker Punch has achieved with this game. It's just fantastic. Patrick, what do you think?
Yes, I am on board with just about everything you said. This is also game of the year for me currently. Anything else that I've played this year has not lived up to what this one has. The stealth and open world they were spot on for me. I mean, you can play in whatever mode you want. You want to play a stealth type character, you play that. You don't like doing the stealth mode, you can walk in and just tear places to shred after a while. In my opinion, the side quests were just as fun as the main storyline. I found that I wanted to, especially the side quests that we followed other characters in the story, were just as fun as the main story. Even the legendary quests and stuff like that, they didn't feel like they were work or tedious. They just felt like natural progressions of the story. The open world in it it's definitely a big open world game, but it didn't feel like it was overwhelmingly open world. Like, I played some games where you're just like, will this ever end? Where I can, I'm a completionist to some extent, but at some point I get tired of doing the side stuff and the opening up the maps and all that stuff. And I didn't get to that point with this game. I did complete everything in the game. I got every achievement and platinum on this one, so I did get everything. And that's the testament. I don't do that very often on games because I get to the point where I'm just like, this has got to end. But this one, I wanted to keep playing when it ended. And so I'm like, well, let me bust out these last few trophies I didn't get and go for it. So, I played it, and I would still play it now if I had something to do in it. But right now I don't have anything to do in it. So I'm just pretty much, I played it to get the last few trophies, and then, I just ran around the world for a little while because I think the world is beautiful. There's the trees, the Japanese culture, all of that stuff that the game embodies to me was just spot on. And it's definitely a 10 for me. I don't see where, a lot of the other review sites basically beat up on this game because of its side quests and open world activities. I don't know what they were seeing that I wasn't seeing, but the most tedious thing in the game that I saw was sometimes I got annoyed with doing the shrines. But other than that, the shrines were still not that bad, and they weren't that hard of a thing to accomplish. So the shrines were, I think, my most tedious thing, and I wouldn't even consider that a tedious item. I think for the most part, most of the other game review sites gave them like 9.5 out of 10, but like, I think, was it GameSpot gave them a 7, and then I can't even remember who the other one was that gave them like a 3 out of 5. I remember seeing a couple of bad reviews on it. Yeah, 3 out of 5. Yeah, they got a 3 out of 5 from.
They didn't complete the game. That's the thing.
Well, it's also out of 5. You got to understand that's a 3 out of 5 stars.
Okay. Yeah,
it was The Guardian. That's who it was. It was Guardian. The Guardian gave them 3 out of 5. But reading through their review of the game, I'm like, why did you give it a 3 out of 5? You didn't really. They basically said it was repetitive and blow to boredom is how they said it. So whoever they had review this game probably isn't a gamer or doesn't play things like this gamer, because if you want to talk about, I think is what he what he was also talking about was like Assassin's Creed, and he was comparing this to Assassin's Creed. And if you want to talk about a blow to boredom, exactly. I mean, I owned the last Assassin's Creed and I liked it. I played a lot of it, but they added so much content that after you got through the first DLC, I'm just like, will this ever end? I am so tired of extra stuff and
Yeah.
open worldness and running for minutes to get across the map. And you don't do that in this game. This game tactfully uses travel points and stuff like that to get from place to place. So I don't get where the Guardian reviewer was going on this, or the GameSpot reviewer, because the GameSpot reviewer said the open world quest structure felt dull, and I was hooked in the stories, the
Oh,
side quest
absolutely.
stories and the main story. I just was like, I saved the main story, did all the side stuff, because I felt that the side stuff was just as like I said, just as fun, just as interesting, and just as it sucked me in just as much as the main story did. The only gripe that I do have about this game was that sometimes the camera angles got to me. I don't know how many standoffs that I got into where the camera angle kind of screwed me over to where I missed a perfect timing of something because it was hiding behind a bush or a tree or something like that. So but that was my only complaint of this game, and
Right.
that's to me says a lot about a game. I played it in the I played this game with English as the main language, because you can play it in English with subtitles, you can play it in Japanese with subtitles, or you can play it in the old black and white style movie with the Japanese language. So, a little something for everybody. So if you like that nostalgia black and white old Japanese style movies, you play it in that. I think Nick, did you play it? Didn't you play it subtitled in Japanese?
I did play in the subtitle in Japanese. I wanted more of the authenticness of it, and I didn't play it in the black and white. I really wanted to, but I wanted to see the colors because this game is beautiful.
It's
I mean, the
stunning.
color. Oh yeah, the color variation of the trees and leaves that fall around and the foliage and things. I mean, this game is a beautiful open world, and I really wanted to see that color. So I didn't want to play it in the black and white, but I wanted to have that authenticity of having the Japanese voice with the English subtitles, and so that's how I played the game. And the Japanese voice actors were great. There wasn't any thing, because sometimes Japanese voice actors, certain ones could be annoying. Um,
Goku.
yeah, you think of Dragon Ball, Dragon Goku in Dragon Ball Z is kind of an annoying voice actor sounding wise, but everyone was perfect in this, and I loved playing it that way and just reading the subtitles because I wanted to be kind of authentic to the situation. But yeah, this game was perfectly, graphically, it's a beautiful game. It's probably one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. Just the amount of foliage and leaves and various things just flowing off of stuff, and it's in the colors and stuff. They have so many bright colors of pinks and purples and reds and
Oh
blues. I
yeah.
mean, it's just everything pops out in this game, and it's just
Yep.
so beautiful. And
What
it's yeah,
and what to me, what made those colors and the most impressive graphically thing about it wasn't to me just the colors and everything. It was the way the wind worked with everything. When you swipe up across the big clicky pad on the PlayStation controller and you watch the trees and the grass and the plants flow with the wind, it's like, how on earth did they do that? Crisis, back in the day, oh my God, look at that leaf, it's amazing. But this is just it's
Yeah.
considering the hardware, what they have done is really to me is just astonishing.
Right.
yeah. When
Yeah. I
you
mean,
when you hit, oh, sorry, go ahead,
I'll
Patrick.
just say, yeah, the colors, the different Japanese trees that have the multicolor foliage, and just running through an area and the foliage moving out of your way, and the colors, and running through fields of bright colored flowers, and just having the world be that interactive, and yeah, because there are scenes where you're in like a more darker area, but then you have the giant trees, the cherry blossom trees, and then the
Yep.
different maple species they have just different color variations. To me, that was cool just to run around some areas and see that stuff. Oftentimes the scenery and the background imagery gets buried in the game. You oftentimes when you run into, my opinion, to a story that's as good as this, you kind of lose the background of that stuff. But this game, you didn't. I
Hmm.
didn't. I felt that it was just transitioning from one area to the other. It was definitely, you could see the stark differences, and it kept my attention on the detail as well as the story.
Yeah, I mean, when you go to the different areas and you just see the foliage and the flowers and the trees off in the distance and stuff. It's like, even though you're following a story line, you see that stuff and you kind of stop with your character and go, wow, this is just absolutely beautiful. And like what Shane was saying with the wind, the wind guides you to your destination, and everything blows, right? The leaves and the trees and everything that's in the what you're seeing, even your character's costume blows in that direction, right? And even NPCs and various things, just like all their clothing and stuff, all flows in that direction of where the wind blows, and it's an absolutely beautiful game.
Right. Yeah, that was a cool concept. I will, usually in these open world games, I have to have a mini map or something like that. And that is probably one of the features this game has done so well that I didn't miss the mini map. The whole let the wind be your guide type thing, let the wind be at your back to push you towards your goal it was kind of an interesting, neat concept that I was at first not sure about, because I'm like, I want my mini map to see what's around me. And then as I got to play more and more, and I was like, you just swipe up on the giant the giant screen, and you're just like, this is tell me where I need to go. I don't need no mini map.
You know what's funny is it just now dawned on me when you said it. I didn't realize there wasn't a mini map. It's just it's just done so well. I didn't even dawn on me that there is no freaking mini map.
Yep, and I need that usually in these open world games. This game just did it so well that you forget about it. I mean, I forgot about it.
Oh yes.
So yeah, this game makes great usage of the mechanics that it has, the stealth mechanics, the stance mechanics, all kinds of just cool little things to keep you engaged in every battle. Because open world games have a tendency to just be, ramble on. They basically, you just go into an area, you kill everybody, you meet the bonus objectives, rinse, repeat the next area. And while this game has some of that, they change it up. You can go in one battle, stealth. You can go in another battle and just go out and fight man to man, doing dodges and parries and swapping stances so you're doing the most damage possible. This game has a lot of mechanics, and I mean a lot. I mean, it has progression, it has armor, different armors. I mean, I don't know what else you could ask for in like an action RPG game. I mean, obviously there could be more RPG elements to any of it, but I think they had a great mix and balance of all that stuff.
Definitely. One thing I would like to see is I'd like to see games like Assassin's Creed look at what they've done with this and build something in the Assassin's Creed world like they've done here. To me, Assassin's Creed should have been this type of a world setup. Far as, the way the side quest work, the main character works, all of that. I think Assassin's Creed developers really need to look hard at this game and go, wow, this really is some good stuff here. We need to take some of these ideals and make them our own. Because I like Assassin's Creed, but to me, after 2, 3, they've really started losing their way, in my opinion. I mean, everybody loves Odyssey. I've enjoyed it, but I didn't love it just because I'm really getting tired of open world games. This game here has drawn me back in easily, just grabbed me, pulled me right in. But I think Assassin's Creed, those types of games really need to look at how they've done it here.
Yeah. So like I said, definitely great things about this game. I as soon as you think you've learned every ability or skill, they just throw something new at you. And so it keeps you going. You're like, okay, I'm starting to get into the repetitive, and then they throw something new at you, So they say, hey, how about trying this new thing that you just learned to take out this base or this group of enemies or whatever, And then each armor set changes the way you play the game. So you'll pick an armor set that goes towards your play style, and even though you get newer armor throughout the game, you may decide, I want to keep this armor. And I kind of like the way they do it too, is basically your armor is what has your stat or your bonuses on it, but then like your hat and your masks don't have any of that stuff, so you can kind of like mix and match sets to some extent, and you can get dyes to change the color of your armor, dyes to change the color of your bow and arrow, your bows, and then different types of sheathings for your sword that changes the hilt and the sheaths for it. So definitely lots of cool little mechanics for this game and lots of cool things to keep you engaged. Like I said, it kept me engaged long enough to where I did a platinum on it. I grabbed every achievement for the game.
Yeah, I would agree, especially with the armor sets and stuff. this game definitely allows you exactly what you said. You can change out your hat and change out your mask and change out your sword and those cosmetic type of materials for anything that suits your style. And for me, I found that I was switching outfits all the time just because I wanted, I would play the game for a while, have my character and have a certain mask and sword and hat, for a little while. And then I'd be like, you know what? I want to change it up a little bit. I want to, have a different outfit and stuff because they give you a ton of different cosmetic masks, hats. And what's cool about it too is you got to go out and find these things in the world. And once you find them, you're like, oh, I really like that. I really like that mask. I really like that hat. I really like that sword look. And so you put that on, and even in the different armor sets and stuff, even though they do give you bonuses, you may not play with, it's kind of twofold. You may play with an armor set that does go towards a bonus towards how you like to play the game, like maybe if you like to use the bow and arrow or something like that. But you might wear an armor set that just looks cool, like you just like, right? It has nothing to do with how you play the game. And the game doesn't, you may not get the right bonuses that you need, but the game doesn't say like, oh, well, you lost that or you died because of the armor that you're wearing, right? You get a slight bonus from those things, but it's not to the point of, being able to take over an area and not being able to, right? Yeah. So it has that great balance of saying like, you can wear whatever you want to wear, even though these things might have bonuses towards certain things. Even if you wear something that doesn't have a bonus, that's okay. Whatever you want to wear, you just make your dude, your samurai, your ninja, whatever, you make them look how you want them to look. And I think that's a really cool aspect. And I think I really like the fact that they gave you so many options, because I would just change through them so often and just try out different masks and hats and armor sets that I just think look cool. And they give you a variety of colors and patterns. There's so many to unlock and so many to have for your armor sets. It's crazy the amount of content they put in here. And like Shane said, yes, this is the epitome of what an open world should be. Depending on the game, of course. Grand Theft Auto open world's a lot different than this, right? But open world, this exactly what Shane said. This reminds me of kind of that realm of Assassin's Creed and games like Assassin's Creed. This is exactly, Sucker Punch knocked it out of the park. This is exactly what an open world should be, and what every open world should look at to say, I want to replicate what they've done.
Yep, there's just enough open world content, in my opinion, to fill that void. With just, in my opinion, just a touch overboard. There's so much to do in there, but not enough to sway me to say it's a bad open world game. There's a lot of collectibles, but there's not an overwhelming amount of collectibles to where I felt it was insurmountable. When you first start the game, it seems that way because there are collectibles like every open world game has, and you go through and you open the menu and you see, oh my god, I got to get 30 of those, and I got to get 20 of these and 80 of these or whatever of that, and you just think, oh, it's an insurmountable task. But then most of the items I ran across just playing the story, I'm like, oh, that's there, because I'm a gamer who likes to explore every nook and cranny of the area I'm in, and so that I tend to just stumble or luck into a lot of those things as I'm playing. But the open worldness didn't feel like it was too big for me to be into, to where I felt like I didn't want to run all the way across the map or God, I got to go back over to that side of the map. No, I'm not going to do that. I never felt that way in this game.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the best thing about this game is hopefully what's coming up, the multiplayer, the co-op that's coming out for it. That has got me super excited. Just running around like a Ronin.
Right. Yep. It's going to be like the multiplayer. Yeah, it's coming out sometime this year. They say 2020, so we got a few months left. So what is it? The Legends. So basically, Ghost of Tsushima Legends is going to be it looks like 4-player co-op, which is going to be cool. And it's like, it's not going to be the campaign from my understanding. It's going to be story-based missions that tackle like Japanese mythology type stuff. So I think I read there's going to be a horde mode as well, which will be interesting.
Oh,
4 players with a horde mode with a bunch of swords and bows.
yeah, I'm ready.
And it'll
And
be a raid.
you give me Hawachas, and I'm a happy boy.
So yeah, and then like it shows, there's going to be all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. The DLC, but yeah, this game is perfect. I mean, really, it's 10 out of 10. They gave Last of Us 2 a 10 out of 10, and IGN did, and a lot of other reviewers gave Last of Us 2 10 out of 10s. And while Last of Us 2 was a pretty good game, I don't think it deserved it. This one they gave it 8 or 7. And I think this game was perfect. I think, like I said, I think Sucker Punch knocked it out of the park. I think this game is a perfect open world, and I Last of Us 2 for me, toward the middle of it, I wanted it. I was just kind of pushing my way through it, and it was like, let's just see it to the end of this. With this game, I didn't feel that way. I felt like I wanted to continue playing it. I want to continue doing things in it, and I didn't want it to end. And I knew there was an ending coming up, and I did all the side quests and I did all the main quests, and it finally ended, and there wasn't anything else to do besides, unlike Patrick, collect some things to get the, to get the platinum on it. And I didn't want to do that part because I just didn't want to do that, right? And that was just me. I just didn't want to do that. Not that I didn't like the game. I just didn't want to do that part. It was just going around collecting a bunch of stuff, which I didn't want to do. And that's a personal choice. It didn't sway me from saying that this is an awesome game and a must play and a 10 out of 10. And for me, again, a game of the year. I think this is one of the best games that has come out this year so far, and it's going to be hard to topple that.
Yep. My opinion so far, the only contender that I know of left for this year will be the Cyberpunk game.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's the only game, in my opinion, that may give this one a run for its money, and I have high hopes for that game. I mean, I've seen a lot of it, and I'm definitely interested in it. But this one, currently, for me, is 10 out of 10. I would reverse any score that any of these game developers gave Last of Us in this one. To me, this one is higher rating, in my eyes, this is a higher rated game than Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2, I couldn't wait for it to be over. This one here felt like I just wanted to play just a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more, and it ended, and I'm like, oh, it ended. So I definitely, this is a 10 out of 10 for me. I would probably put Last of Us 2 at like a 7 or 8, maybe a 7.5 or 8 for me out of 10. So this one, 10 out of 10. I hope it makes it. I want to see what it does at the Game Awards and stuff like that, because this game here should be winning all the awards for like open world and all that good stuff.
Oh yes, everything from the character, the voice actors deserve the rewards. The awards. The game designers deserve the awards. I mean, there's nothing about this game. Oh, absolutely, the music. I mean, just strolling on your horse, whip out your flute, and just enjoy the ride. Enjoy the sunsets on this game were absolutely astonishing.
Yep. Like I said, it's definitely one of those rare games that a Western company puts out a game that just it's in my opinion embodies the Japanese culture stuff, because I like Japanese culture and samurai games and stuff, and this one is just one of the top ones out there. I don't know what else more I could say about this game. If you haven't tried it and you're on the fence about it, it's definitely one that I don't think that you'll be disappointed with, even if you paid full price for it, because it's a game worth full price and is worth everybody helping this developer monetize it so that they can put out more great games like this.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's definitely worth the $60. If it's still $60 now, go buy it for $60. You will not be disappointed.
Nope, I would definitely not wait.
Right. Great combat, great story, great music, great everything. Just it was hard to put down. I didn't put it down for the whole time I played it. I didn't play anything in the middle of this game, which is kind of rare. Normally I'm playing like 2 or 3 games at a time. Not with this one. I focused all my attention on it because it was just that good. We look forward to see what you guys have to say. We will catch up with everybody on the next episode. Have a good evening.